here today in what I call the only Scottish town in England. Can you guess what it is? Towns in Scotland and England that have seen more fighting, violence over the centuries than this town. But at this moment in time, I really can't think of any. During the reign of Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth I, this town was taken into English hands and it's never been Scottish ever since. And during that time, those two queens ordered the construction of these enormous, absolutely enormous defensive walls around the town, the likes of which have never really been seen again in Britain. Defensive walls were built for one reason only. That was to keep out the ferocious Scottish armies. There are clues to the Scottish-ness of this place everywhere. I mean, this town's probably more Scottish than Auchtermuchty. I don't even know where that is, but it sounds incredibly Scottish, doesn't it? There's one more thing which is this kind of jewel in the crown of this now English but really culturally Scottish town, which over the centuries has been developed and vandalised and is now defaced with English propaganda. If you hadn't guessed already, the town I am in is of course Berwick upon Tweed. Yeah, and this is where my beloved River Tweed meets the sea. It's had a long journey through the heart of the Scottish borders, and it's just unfortunate this last few miles is tarnished by a journey through England. Last thing I'm talking about is of course this, the scant remains of Berwick Castle, demolished, you heard me, demolished in 1850 to make way for the building of a railway station. Absolute sacrilege. Yeah, these walls have been scaled by James the Good, the Black Douglas. Those gates have been crashed by Robert the Bruce. But probably the most famous incident in Berwick Castle's history was the fact that a quarter, the top right quarter apparently, of William Wallace's dismembered body was brought here and hung on the walls as a warning to all the Scottish inhabitants of Berwick to bow down before Edward I. Yeah, the walls are still pretty massive to this day, but it's not really touted as a tourist attraction anymore. Well, I don't think it ever has been touted as a tourist attraction. And the placards around the base chart and the history of Berwick's struggles with Scotland are pure, utter English propaganda. So don't believe any of them. Yeah, there's the propaganda I'm talking about. The remains of the west wall of Berwick Castle built by Edward I in 1297. What they fail to mention there was Edward I built these walls after him and his army had attacked the town and committed what can only be described as a genocide, murdering every single one of the men, women and children, or the Scottish men, women and children that lived here. Estimates between 12 and 20,000 people murdered. And then Edward done this great thing of building the castle walls. Don't mention that, do they? They ain't lying. They're slightly leaving something out, ain't they? Hey guys, we really need to build a railway station in Berwick upon Tweed. Where do you want to put it? Why don't we demolish the 800-year-old castle? Yeah, that's a good idea, eh? Yeah, I'm here today because I want to take Berwick back. I want Berwick to be Scottish again. The problem is, don't know who to ask, so I'm just going to go home.